Bilingual education beneficiaries. We are talking about bilingual education, but the main question is, who is the bilingual education for? Once we have decided who the bilingual education is for, then only we can come to the questions of the relevance of bilingual education, the relevance of pedagogy, relevance of curriculum, and relevance of assessment and evaluation. Now, the basic assumption is that some form of bilingual education is good for everyone. So, although bilingual educational programs are somehow associated with a lower socioeconomic class or the immigrants or the refugees or asylum seekers, yet it is argued that some form of bilingual education is extremely important for everyone. Yes, ethno-linguistic minorities benefit a lot from it, but also then the ethno-linguistic elite also benefit from it. And the question is, how do the ethno-linguistic elites benefit from it? The ethno-linguistic elites benefit from it because by knowing the people or knowing the larger majority, knowing their language enables them to connect with that majority. For instance, let's take a simple example of our own politicians. If you are in politics and you go out to make that speech, unless you know the language of the people out there, you cannot possibly take your election agenda to them. You cannot possibly speak to them or connect to them or understand their problems. So it is for all social classes, definitely, because no matter what, this is a society that in which there is a lot of interdependence. This is what social life is all about. So we are saying bilingual education is good for children of lower ability and higher ability. It does not really matter. If children are using more than one language at home, then they need to use more than one language at school so that they are able to understand the concepts that are coming to them clearly. So we are saying in the context of Pakistan, yes, English language is important because this is the language that will enable them to connect with the global environment, but then they also need the national language, yes, to connect at national level, but they also need the regional language to maintain their own sense of self and to connect back to their own communities. So it is important in vocational training and also programs for gifted children, that is, children who are very talented. It's important for adults in lifelong learning. So once the concepts are there, so when you come back to education at any point in your life, bilingual education enables you to pick up the strands of your education and begin your life again at any point. It's important for children with special needs, that is for special education, because imagine this lecture being in French, for instance, and think of yourselves as, people who do not know much French. How much good will it do to you? So if we sort of move from one language to the other and we use a language that you know, then you will be able to understand the content of the lecture more. And that is why it has certain cognitive advantages and social advantages. Cognitive advantages are related to understanding of abstract concepts, saying what you understand, being able to express what you understand. And social advantage is, of course, being able to communicate with peers and others. But please remember that the social and cognitive are related to it. So when the teacher is able to build relationships of trust with their children, with her or his children, with the use of a language that they understand, that is exactly where the learning happens. So in a multilingual world, more and more countries across the world, the majority of the population of the world is not monolingual, it is multilingual. And if you want to connect with them for whatever purposes you want to, you need to know their language. So it has become more relevant and not less relevant. So for transformative education, an education that makes change, that stimulates imagination, stimulates creativity, then the stress of a language that you do not know has to be removed or to be given in small bits so the children can still understand the concepts and learn the new language. So it's a sense of liberation comes from bilingual education, both for the people who know English and those who do not know. So ultimately, we are saying bilingual education is not just for the disadvantaged, it's for everyone.